Tony, dear Tony, you always have a pleasant answer to it. Are we overtaxed?
Well, there are criteria for this. One criterion is what the options of people are. For example, we discovered that doctors are moving away. One of the issues is, are we subjecting these doctors to higher taxes here than they would be elsewhere? Now, obviously, in this particular case, what matters is that the fees they get from the government are lower than, say, in Ontario, and much, much lower than their potential earnings in Texas. Now, on the margin, this applies to many other people. This applies to new graduates. Where are they going to get jobs, assuming jobs can be had? Will they go to Alberta where there are low taxes? Will they go to Ontario where the taxes are relatively high, or Newfoundland, or will they stay here in Quebec? The bottom line is that taxes do matter, and if you go to Alberta, you'll find an awful lot of people who take advantage of the prosperity there, who used to be elsewhere. Taxes have something to do with it, and so does oil.
I don't think Tony actually answered the question.
Well put, and it's true. May I respond to that? Diana is absolutely right.
He actually, is that your response?
The difficulty is that taxes go with other things. Now, if he could somehow, this is the economist's dream, put 8 corporate directors in a room and change the corporation tax and see how they change their behavior. That experiment is not to be had. So we really don't know. But by and large, I think we know when we feel overtaxed and we complain, and we move and our children move. So in some sense, it's intuitive.
David?
Yes, I was simply going to say, I mean, it's a terrible trade-off, but I wouldn't go to Alberta to get lower taxes and then miss Wednesday nights in the field.
Oh.
Well, you know, it's a question of what you value in life, isn't it?
Would you like a front seat? Thank you. Yes, Bert?
I don't think the question is, are we overtaxed? Is our tax money being used efficiently?
Of course.
In theory, if the government can provide us for more value than we're paying.
Quebec is relatively higher tax than Ontario, just slightly. And everybody I know with kids between the ages 0 and 5 who work in Ottawa live in Hull or Gatineau, so they can make the most of our $7 a day daycare. So although we clearly pay higher taxes, we definitely have better services in Quebec than Ontario, at least for people with young children. And the other thing is that my daughter is a tax lawyer, and the huge amount of money that individuals and corporations spend looking for loopholes in the tax system and using offshore accounts to their advantage in order to prevent paying Canadian taxes, I found completely outrageous.
Yes, please.
Doesn't that by definition mean that if companies are willing to spend a lot of money to circumvent the law, that they must therefore feel as though the tax rate is too high?
No.
Well, I mean, it must mean something. I mean,
feel.
I'm not trying to make a judgment about whether it's good or bad. I'm just trying to say, if you're trying to abstractly judge whether taxes are high, it's a function of, in part, one measure of trying to determine whether they're too high or not is the extent to which people will go to circumvent paying them. That is by definition a measure of how.
But you have to be wealthy in order to circumvent.
Okay.
Yeah, but but I'm just saying it's by definition.
Now we've really got to.